What's up, weirdo? Shadetree Surgeon here, back out at the F&A property with vicious dogs over here. Trust me, much more to worry about from the owner than from the dog. Anyway, we came out because Eric said I could take this Shovelhead for a spin, man. This is the first bike I watched you build. When I say I watched you build it, I watched you build it on Instagram. I mean, I didn't like stand over your shoulder. This is the first one I saw come together. This is the very first bike, I assume, that ever had the dual magneto on it.
Not the first.
Not the first one?
One of the first. This is actually one of the first setups I've done.
That's one of the very first one ever. I mean, that's its own set of history right there.
These were custom made. These are the ones we make.
Okay, you make those in-house?
These were custom made.
This whole thing is just wild, man.
This bike is pretty much custom made. You know, the whole frame.
Oh, so you made the frame, you made the fenders?
Made the fender.
It's a
brakes.
yeah, another one of those things that you never notice exactly until you start looking around. You're like, oh, cool Shovelhead chopper. Then you're like, wait a second, this has like a. So those are BMW. I was wondering about those last time and I forgot to ask. BMW fork legs. It's got Brembo brakes, hydraulic clutch, obviously juice brakes too, but just everything on the bike. Once you take a second look.
Primary.
That is so freaking cool, man. Once you take a second look at something like this, you just see a new thing every time you look at it, which is kind of the point. The point is every time you walk around it, you end up seeing something new. Like the way that everything's welded for all the brakes and everything like that is just, it's a wild, man. This thing is just a work of art, like a chopper should be. Chopper should be functional art, slightly functional art, but I've never known you to not build a runner.
No, this one's definitely a runner. I've rode this to Alabama before. So.
Dude, Alabama, so that's what I'm saying. This
rebuilt, you know, completely rebuilt and repainted after that, but that's, you know.
Yeah, so that's a runner, man. What year did the motor come out of? Just because people will be curious. It's a 1980. Oh, so a later one, man. That's better. They didn't start making them shittier as time went on. I heard some of those really early 70s ones just leak oil all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, they all, you know, they all need to be gone through once they're gone through. I mean, this one's been rebuilt from the crank up.
Oh, wow.
Balanced and
does it have is it an 80-inch then?
80, it's a little more than 80 because it's 30 over. And
gotcha.
It's like 10.5 to 1 compression.
Oh, holy crap, dude. 10.5 compression Shovelhead. If you didn't have that, that advance right there, this is kick only, but yeah, there's no starter. It is a kick only bike. Well, with that advance down there on Eric's belt-driven magneto setup, everyone keeps saying that Shay's gonna fly over the handlebars when she kickstarts the shovel, but not on this one, baby. Yeah, you just touched it. That's a cold bike right there. Damn, dude. And you're giving it away. You're giving it away. So I gotta make sure I ride it before. I'm gonna buy a ticket, but if you pull my name out of the hat, at that point, it's just like, I will understand if you just throw it back in. That would look shady, but I'm definitely buying a ticket because I've always loved this bike. It just seemed like it's like the test bed for so many parts that are just like F&A classics now. The pancake headlights and the dual mags and the freaking these pegs that you make. Yeah, I assume you made that exhaust yourself. That ain't off the shelf.
No.
Ain't nothing on this bike. It's either not off the shelf and built by Eric, or it ain't supposed to go on this bike. If you see, these are actually 7/8 handlebars, which you had to do for no other reason than just to be a weirdo.
Yeah, those were a friend of mine's. He built ago, and I just had them in the cabinet. I loved them, always loved them. So.
What a great looking bike. Thanks for letting me ride it, and I promise I won't wear it out too much for whoever ends up getting given this thing. And Electron Carb, of course, man. The folks over at Electron, good people, man. Always showing good support, always good people, and they build a great product. The last time I tried to kickstart your Shovelhead, you were able to kickstart it, but I wasn't. So I'm gonna let you start this for me, all right?
I kickstarted 2 motorcycles in my life.
Fair enough, dude. This will be the third Shovelhead, the separate Shovelhead, anyway.
Yeah, third Shovelhead.
First time kicking over a mag-fired Shovelhead. Now this has got way higher compression than the ones you were used to, so we'll see if you can even actually get the kicker down. You might stand on it, might not go at 10 to 1. It might not.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, my arm's broken.
Yeah, I gotta actually hold this because she can't hold the bike. All right, go ahead. Do whichever one you want. Now you don't have to worry about kickback with that retarded ignition. It's the only what it is. You can say that. It's. Oh, you can get it down. Don't break this bike. Someone's got to win this thing.
The first one.
You can do it. I believe in you. Think heavier. Not that heavy. Not that heavy. All right, let me give this thing a whirl. It's 10-to-1 compression. You can't be mad at yourself. Oh, by the way, speaking of FNA parts, FNA kill switches for your magneto pleasure. You just had to be a little bit heavier, Shay. I just love this setup. These mirrors make me so happy, dude. Definitely not for the faint of heart with that double chain open primary, but you know what? That's why nobody remembers a coward. Be a hero. Do the open primary, baby. Well, start's a lot easier than yours. Okay, so it's one up and then down. Of course it is, you psychopath. I love it, man. Surprisingly enough, it looks like these pegs are just going to be absolutely insane, but they are so comfortable. Gotta remember how to put my foot on it, but woo, baby. Oh my God, it's chopper time, dude. This thing is a rider, and I love a motorcycle that can look absolutely just like batshit crazy, wild, insane, but it is a rider, baby. Like he was saying, Eric from FNA has actually ridden this thing to Georgia, man, so trust me, it's a rider, and it goes to that 10-to-1 compression ratio. Now, if you think, and it's not hard to kick again because of the magnetos, so when you're able to retard that ignition, it makes it just so easy to kick. Even though Shay just didn't quite have the ass to kick over 10-to-1 compression, that's all right. Woohoo! God, dude, this thing's got some balls, huh? All right, gotta remember. Up for downshifting, up for downshifting. Yeah, dude, this thing freaking goes, boy. It's crazy to ride a chopper that's actually kind of quick, man. Especially since the other Shovelheads I was on have nowhere near this kind of power, man. What a one-of-a-kind bike. Like I said, I'm gonna buy a sticker and try, you know, and but it's almost like if my name gets pulled, I know it's just gonna be, literally, even if he called me and goes, oh, I pulled your name, I'd probably just be like, put it back in, dude. There's no way that I can win this giveaway. Just come on, man. That would look too shady. That doesn't stop me from hoping, man, because I've always loved this motorcycle. It's just so wild, and I always thought it'd be kind of uncomfortable with these pegs, but they're wonderful, man. I can see why he was able to ride this to Georgia without a problem at all. Yeah, this is a very cool bike. Dude, it's kind of quick, man, for a Shovelhead.
I forgot to enhance the mag.
Oh, so it would be even faster. Oh, damn. I thought it was pretty damn quick as it was, man. Someone's going to get a righteous bike. It's a rider. I always thought that those pegs looked so freaking cool, but I was like, they got to be uncomfortable as hell. And when you told me you rode to Georgia, I was like, what a nightmare. Yeah. Dude, it's comfortable. It is. It's really comfortable. Yeah, that seating position is... It's like perfect. I'm just like, oh, dude, I could do this all day long. Yeah. That's freaking nice, man. So whoever's getting it, that sucker's a rider, man. You can do trips on choppers, man. The day after I finished mine, paint 3 days old, I went on a 1,200-mile trip.
The pipes are my favorite part.
That's why you got to learn how to weld good, because that's the only way you can do that. You can't buy that.
I know that. I'm very sad about that.
No, well, you learn how to weld good, and you can do it. If you weld bad, you can still do it. It's just going to look like crap.
I honestly didn't weld.
Oh, you didn't?
I tacked them together.
So you shaped it.
Limitations.
Dude, there you go, man.
Better people at welding than I am.
And so that's very important.
Much better than I am.
So I will tell you, you got to know. So it's like I said, when you helped me build my chopper, you welded the hardtail on it because I'd never touched a welder in my life. Now, why the hell am I going to weld a hardtail on a bike that I'm planning on riding 1,000 miles? And that's really the fun thing. What taught me about choppers is a community, even just having a chopper. And I hate to say it like this, but you want to imagine how many more friends you instantly have once you show up somewhere on something like this. And then building it, it takes a community, and the community is so strong and so cool. This bike is a perfect example of that. I freaking love it, man. Thanks for letting me take it for a spin before whoever gets it. I think this video is going to come out on Wednesday, so 300 spots. That's what you can get. There's going to be 1 in 300. That ain't bad odds, baby. 1 in 300. Like I said, I'm going to buy one, dude. But if you give me a call, I'm going to be like, yo, it's going to be hard for me to say put it back in the hat and pull another one, but I might have to. That might just be too hinky. God, I wish though. All right, I'm here at Forgotten Angels, of course, hanging out with my man Shep, the man of 3 gold wings. Shep over here. And we got my man Buck over here. Buck Brown. Is that the name of the channel too?
Buck Brown at So We Know For Rider.
So Buck Brown, my man over here, is the one who bought Shaylee's first Suzuki Savage. This is the bike that we brought back, that brought us back together, that got her started back to riding here in Florida after she sold her other bike in Indiana to escape Indiana. If you live in Indiana, try to escape. But anyway, yeah, exactly what Shep says. Escape Indiana.
Get away as quick as you can.
It's going to a new home, and my man Buck Brown over here, his daughter learned how to ride on a Rebel 250. She's ready for something bigger, and the Suzuki Savage fits the bill, man. And I hope that they make a bunch of amazing memories on it. That's the Rebel 250 she learned how to ride on right there. I hope they make a bunch of amazing memories, and when she's done with this and ready to go to even bigger bike, I hope it goes somewhere else again for even more memories. There ain't no reason not to. And the bike that she learned how to ride on, but in addition to buying this, because I didn't give him this, I sold it to him. But in addition to that, he brought the Rebel that she learned how to ride on up here to Forgotten Angels, and he's donating it. My man over here, he's donating it so it can do that exact same thing. This is going to be his daughter's bigger bike, and then it'll go on to someone else after her, and the bike that she started on is going to go teach people how to ride here at Forgotten Angels. Now that's a pretty cool story.
Appreciate you.
Oh dude, I appreciate you, man. Back in the garage, back with the YZ465, and back with some WR250 triple trees that have a YZ465 stem, thanks to my man Shelby and my man Joe at the Ride Factory. So when they pressed it out, they found out that this stem, my exact calculations were 5 thousandths off. This hole down here in the WR250 bottom triple tree was 5 thousandths bigger than this stem was, so they had to put some knurling on it. I learned something about knurling. I always thought knurling was just something that was on stuff to provide a little bit of extra grip, and while that is true, I was missing part of what actually makes knurling work, which when you knurl something, it actually makes the diameter slightly bigger. So by knurling that, it was able to take up that 5 thousandths worth of space. Pretty damn cool. Something I would not have been able to figure out myself. One of the most important things about building any bike, whether it's a chopper or a tracker like this, is it takes a village, baby. And when you're the village idiot, it definitely takes a village. Now, obviously, the bottom bearing was sacrificed during pulling everything out, but as you can see here, we're ready to rock and roll, man. That is now the correct length. And since I still have the top bearing, I'm just gonna go ahead and test fit this sucker here real quick. And of course, you remember that I already knew the top was OD of it was a little too small, so they made us this sleeve to go in here to make this fit just about perfectly. There we go, baby. We're seeing, you'll see it's got a little bit of play down here because there's no bottom bearing in it, so it's able to go up a little farther than it's gonna be able to once that's in there. But that is a perfect fit.
Dude, are you serious? What were you thinking?
Well, last night was incredibly frustrating. Didn't film a lot, didn't talk a lot because I had a pretty bad time. You know, it's my own fault though. When things go wrong on a motorcycle, definitely my fault, especially with polishing. I tried to take a shortcut with the other fork tube last night. Did not work out. Ended up just really putting some bad gouges in it. Not a good idea. So I decided to give it up and get a pipe polishing tool, and they make an attachment for the grinder. So I decided to give it up and put it back together. Then I couldn't get the axle to fit, and in the process of trying to get it to fit, I broke the bottom of the right fork tube off. Anyway, it's still bolted up and it's still a roller, but yeah, the best laid plans of mice and men. And when you're an idiot, everything's just a little bit harder, man. Life is hard. It's harder when you're stupid and more expensive. Luckily, I found another set of forks for really, really, really cheap. So it's not that big of a setback, just a really frustrating. I'm more worried about the amount of frustration that I experienced last night than I am worried about spending another 80 bucks on 2 new fork tubes. But it is a roller, and it's time to get it outside because today is all about Shaylee's. Well, ain't it good to see the blue bomber running, baby? That's my man Shelby here, come to help us with the shovel head. You gotta know the right time to call in the experts, and when you're pulling a motor You have a bike that I've never pulled the motor of before. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, you know. It is just a shovel head. I imagine easier than the FXR.
Okay.
But it helps to have somebody around who has done it. Yeah, I would say a time or two. But the bike I was talking about, the other off-road bike, is this KLR 650, which was donated by a guy named Craig. Great dude, donated 2 motorcycles of Forgotten Angels, this being one of them. He actually donated this KLR 650. He bought it with the intention of donating it to Forgotten Angels. That's why he bought the bike. I got the seat and the side panels inside, but we got some cool plans for this motorcycle. I've never actually ridden a KLR 650.
Me neither.
It does run. The carburetor needs some work. I'm gonna see what else this thing needs, but we're gonna go through it. If I had to guess, probably caliper rebuilds, definitely, you know, oil change. The chain actually looks pretty fresh on it, besides a little surface rust. I don't know what the KLR doohickey is, although I've heard people talk about it, so whatever that is, we'll replace that. But this is a really cool motorcycle. The fork seals look like they're in good shape. I don't know if they all came with that fork brace on there, but that looks pretty damn cool. So yeah, I imagine caliper rebuilds. You know, we'll check the wheel bearings. You know, old bike like this, I think it's got to be like a 90s bike. The side panels inside advertise it as being liquid cooled, which I think that once after the 80s, they kind of stopped advertising them as liquid cooled.
87.
87, there we go. Early KLR, dude. That's one of the first years, I think. Well, you know what we say, after the bombs drop, there'll be 2 things left: cockroaches and KLRs, baby. But that's a project for another day. Today, it's Shovelhead time. So the first thing you should do whenever you get a new motorcycle that you don't know anything about is you should change the oil, because you don't know what's in there, you don't know how long it's been in there, you don't know what they put in there. It's the first thing you do. You agree, right, Shelby? Now, what's the first thing you do when you're starting to pull a motor from a motorcycle?
Drain oil.
Drain the drain the oil. Luckily, you already know how to do that. In Shay Lisi's defense, we were originally thinking about possibly welding the hardtail on with the motor already in, but we have decided against that. Well, fast forward to the future, and the motor's out. It's over here. I managed to miss most of it, but I got back for the important part, you know? That's just like me. Miss most of the work, back for the important part. It's a chopper now, but not quite. In order for it to be a chopper, Shay Lisi, you're gonna have to do the honors. You gotta chop something off of it. Well, Shay Lisi, it's officially a chopper. All right, guys, I've been trying to figure out how to get something accomplished for like the past 3 days, and it's just kind of sucked. I mean, we did get Shay Lisi's engine out. I got the transmission out today. I managed to fuck up the front end of my YZ465 build, so waiting on some more parts in that. So that was a big fail. Yeah, everything's organized, so there's that. At least I'm failing and becoming incredibly frustrated in a place that is organized. So I mean, I guess it would be worse if it wasn't. That's okay though. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull in the dirtster, because I'm just kind of at this impasse where I'm waiting on some parts because I messed up and I can't do anything, and I just am feeling like I want to produce something. I want to achieve something, and I need to do that. I built that frame for the luggage to try and make it a little bit better, and then I never painted it, so it's just like rusting right now. So I gotta pull that apart, knock all the rust off of it, and paint that, or else it's just gonna rust away. So I don't know. Let's do that. That's productive, right? Well, now that I'm looking at my Super Custom, the sticker now, but my Super Custom setup here, I remembered that I do want to just moves a little bit, so I think I'm going to make one more piece here to brace it. I mean, I've got this piece down here, and it's pretty, I think it's pretty heavy duty, but I want to be able to put a tent on top of it. So I'm going to put one more brace on it. I think then we're going to paint it and call it good. Yeah, obviously, I should have painted this a while ago. Something like that ought to work just fine. 2023, new year, new me. Safety is no longer third. It's now second. That ought to work. Yeah, a little bit the other way on the other side. This stuff is pretty bendy, so I can afford to just kind of eyeball it like that. It ain't exactly busting out the protractor here, just eyeballing it just so it goes down a little bit, but like I said, this is pretty bendy steel, so once I just freaking tighten it down there, it'll fall into place and be better. But At least it kind of follows a little better than just slapping it on there, right? Let's drill some holes. Once again, some exact custom measurements here. Yeah, right about there, and yeah, how about round about there? Let's see if I can make this work. Totally lost my Chuck key. somewhere in the move, baby. That's exact, right? Yeah, sure, whatever you say, Josh. Close enough for rock and roll, right? Yep. Here, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. This is something you do when you suck, like me. Suck enough that you don't really want to make measurements. You see, I'm gonna bolt this one in, and then I'll just drill right through that hole into here to make that hole. That way my measurements are exact. Exact enough to hold it on there anyway. Okie dokie. Let's see. Ooh, that's all over the place, isn't it? Ooh, I bought a punch just for this occasion. I'd lost my old one. I was so bummed out when I lost my old punch, because my old punch, that's what I built my whole chopper with. And, well, it somehow got lost in the move, as things will do. It's just a bummer, because, you know, you spend enough time with tools, you become rather attached to them. There we go. Aha! That'll work just fine. Yes, technically I should make another one for the other side. Gosh, I really don't want to though. Anyway, I'm not sure if one brace is enough or not. I already thought it was, I really thought this thing was strong enough before. But I just am trying to be like, if I put a big freaking tent and a bunch of crap on top of my top box, I'm worried about going off-road and just bouncing around and breaking. Not that it really freaking matters, but I always just like to kind of round off these edges down here on the bottom, even though I don't need to take anything off of it. And like anybody's actually inspecting my handiwork, like nobody gives a crap. But I do it anyway. It makes it look like I kind of tried, right? Yeah, that's gonna work all right. Well, I think just one's gonna do it just fine. Let's go ahead and pull all this stuff off and paint it. Well, not this guy, aluminum, but all this stuff, yeah. Yeah, definitely needs to get painted. It's looking like a boat anchor. So I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to mount the gas can on here. Obviously I want to keep my high exhaust, but I don't want to melt the gas can, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just steal the gas can off of Shay Lisi's motorcycle. Shay Lisi's Honda Trail 125, and I'm going to have to fab up a little mount here, but I think it's going to work just fine. Going to have to weld something there, bolt that to there, and you know, I think we're in business, baby. Looks like it'll clear the exhaust just fine without melting, hopefully. Man, for the umpteenth time, this is why you have two grinders, baby. I wouldn't say that this is going to be perfect, but I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to hold. Well, that looks terrible, but I think it'll hold. Cool. It's kind of even. Uh-oh. This thing, I don't know if it's going to bend to fit anymore. Might have made a little mistakey. Aha! Aha! Ha ha ha! That works. Alright, do we have a winner? Yes. A winner? Chicken dinner, baby. Very cool. Hell yeah. And I'll be able to drill a hole and have it braced. This sucker ain't going nowhere. Nice. Nice. Ow. You know, I was actually really worried that this wasn't going to fit. I'm pretty stoked it does. I think that looks pretty good. We're going to call this one a win. You know what, team? Sometimes all you need is a win. Now, a win and a motorcycle ride? Baby,
if that don't cure what ails you, you got big problems. Now, it's easy to get down in the dumps when you're experiencing a couple failures in a row, even more so when you know those failures are your own fault. You know, the distribution of blame is an important thing. And yes, and while I admit that it's an important thing, I will also tell you, I really do try to be super, super, super honest with myself. And when you're really honest with yourself and nobody else is working on it and you're there by yourself and something messes up, there's only one person that gets the blame, and that's you. And there's nobody else to blame for me messing up that one front fork after I did the one pretty good, except for me and me trying to take a shortcut. And I don't know how many times I've said it out loud on the channel. You could make a super cut of me saying it. There's no shortcuts in polishing. Well, what did I do? I tried to take a shortcut. So it's all my fault, and it happened by doing something that I knew I shouldn't have done. There you go. No one to blame but me. And man, it just threw me into kind of a funk, if I'm being honest, which is even more annoying as I sit there in the funk. I think they call this spiraling. As I sit there in that funk and I'm mad at myself for being mad at myself over something that was so stupid and that was my fault anyway, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden I'm in a pretty damn bad mood. Let me give you a little piece of advice. This is something I do when I get into that little trap of blaming yourself and getting mad and not having anyone else to blame and just generally being upset. It's like I said, the distribution of blame, you know, people seem to think that it's like this catch-all, like you have nobody to blame but yourself, like that's supposed to make things better. Like, no, that makes shit worse, man. That makes it suck. When there's somebody else to blame, I'm not as mad because I don't have any control over that. That's on somebody else. Or when it's only me, I'm the only one I can blame. I get so angry at myself. But that's just me. Anyway, when that happens, you need a win, baby. You gotta win one. You gotta set yourself up with a softball, all right? You gotta set yourself up with a pop fly, all right? And so I knew I had some work I had to do to my dirt stir. It's something that I haven't done just because I hadn't really needed to do it. It just needed to get done, and I knew I could, and I knew it took a little bit of fabrication skills, and I knew it took using some of the skills I've accrued that I'm more confident in, and I got it done. And guess what? I gave myself a win. I gave myself an underhanded softball. I caught a pop fly, and I feel a lot better afterwards. Now, the post office isn't getting a win today as I make my daily visit without a manifest. Evil wears a Hawaiian shirt, and it has struck again. You see, baby? That's a win. Now, it might be a win at somebody else's expense, the USPS, but it's a win nonetheless. Hey, they should just be understanding, okay? Well, Shadetree Surgeon, you know, even evil doers need a win sometimes. Even the bad guys gotta win one. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Huge up to all my weirdos out there, all my Brapstar weirdos helping me wage an ever-present and ever-constant, a never-ending war against the USPS. Evil shall triumph over good. And thanks for helping me do that. Seriously, all you guys who order anything from Brapstar.com, we have a pre-order going on right now that is going to end tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day, and I'm going to shut down that pre-order. And if you didn't get one of the new hoodies or one of the new shirts, I don't like to print stuff twice. You know, every once in a while I will, but I really don't like to print stuff twice. I like to be one of a kind. So get on that pre-order now, or forever hold your peace. Yeah, get in on that pre-order and let the USPS hear our fearful cry. Let a chill run across their skin in the dark of the night as I cry out, Shadetree, and hear back the cry from you weirdos, Army. That's gonna about do it for this one, guys. Remember, even bad people can do good things. Scum still rises to the top, and we might be evil, but goddamn, we're having a good time. Till next time, keep it weird.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shadetree, Army! Shadetree, Army! Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shadetree, Army! Shadetree, Army! Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadly deadliest of foes. Shadetree Army, Shadetree Army. Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shadetree Army, Shadetree Army. They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shadetree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.